What up friends, Liron here, thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're looking at the Schmincke dot cards. So I already opened these and played around with them a bit, as you can see. These are very interesting, a bit different from what I'm familiar with, and so I really want to take a look at them. We're gonna first look at the 12 ones. I'm just gonna paint with them just to show you what they look like, how they behave, and then we're gonna go over to the 35 ones. These are new paints by Schmincke, and I want to show you some of the more interesting ones because there are some that are really interesting there. Okay, so let's get started. Okay friends, so I have the dot cards here and you can see some of the experimentation, the result of the experimentation I did on it. I also added something of my own and I took it from the brochure they gave me. So we have a few things here. I added 3 symbols to each one. The number represents the light fastness, okay? So it's on a scale of 5 to 1, 5 being the best, 1 is the worst. Here we have nothing that's under 3, most of it is 4 and some of it is 5. 3 is light fast, okay? And 4 is good light fast and 5 is perfect light fastness. Now in addition to that we have also the square and the triangle. So the square represents the level of opacity. When you see something like this, it's semi-transparent, okay? When you see an empty square that we don't have here, it's entirely transparent. These ones are semi-opaque and these ones are opaque, okay? So this is the least transparent we'll have here, which is semi-transparent. Then we have the square that represents staining, okay? Now this is semi-staining, this one is non-staining at all, and this one is staining. Okay, now there's also the thing of the issue of granulation. Now they write in the brochure next to each pigment, if it granulates, they write a G. Now none of these are granulating, which I find fascinating to like have 12 that don't granulate, because I'm so used to working with granulating colors. This one, especially the Ultramarine Finest, it's very interesting to me that it's not granulating, but it's not French ultramarine, so it's a little different. So what I'm gonna do is just start filling these up and we'll take a look at how it looks like trying to get a variety of values. So the first one we're looking at here is the lemon yellow, and let me re-wet this a bit. I'm trying to use not too much water, and I'm just gonna put in here a very light layer of the yellow, and I'll slowly pick up a little more. This is a very cool yellow, reminds me sort of a marker yellow. I really tend to, as most of you probably know by now, I talk about it so much, to use warmer paints, so just an interesting little fact here. As you can see, this one has a level 3 of light fastness, it is semi-transparent, and it's semi or medium level of staining. On to the next one, we have here the Cadmium Yellow Light, okay? I will have a list of all of these in the description box. I just didn't have enough room to actually write it here. So you can check these out in the description box. Anyway, it's fun to use dots as a palette, I have to say. So the one thing I do notice is that this one is a little warmer. Now, I don't know how well you can see this. I think I can see this. I'm looking at the camera now and I think it is visible. So this one, yeah, it's a little warmer, which I love. It reminds me a bit of the New Gamboge, although the New Gamboge is much more orangey. But in that sense, this is my New Gamboge. Next up we have the Cadmium Red Light. Now I'm really excited because these are the first two cadmiums I ever use. I actually never used the cadmium before. And I know they're very strong and they're beautiful, so I was really excited to test this out. So let's try and get a bit of a stronger mix here. Because it's a cadmium, it should go pretty dark, and yeah, just beautiful. I love that. Look at that. Really love the way it looks. Very rich, reminds me sort of my Prussian Red, and this is the warmer version of red. Now we're gonna look at the permanent Carmine, which is the cooler version of red here. If I'm not mistaken, this one can go pretty strong as well. You can see here also it has the transparency, it's semi-opaque, and It's semi-staining, medium level of staining. Love it. I love reds are among my favorite. I really love the primaries because they just work together really well. Really, I think a palette of just primaries can be so good for so many uses. You don't really need any of the comfy mixtures, but you know, it's nice to have also. So this is the Ultramarine Finest, my favorite name for a color ever. And it is pretty fine, I have to say. It's non-granulating, let them bleed a bit into one another. So this one's non-granulating, and again, I'm so used to the French ultramarine that is granulating. So it's really a new adventure for me, and it feels nice actually, because the granulations sometimes hurt my paintings, I know it. Sometimes they make them a little too like aggressive, let's say, the granulations. So it's pretty nice to have one that's not granulating. Now the next one is very interesting. This is the Prussian Blue. And Prussian Blue, the reason why it interests me is that the only Prussian Blue I ever tried was as part of the Van Gogh palette. And it's interesting to see. Same is true for the yellow ochre, which we'll get to in a moment. So it's really interesting for me to see how it handles, you know, when it's a bit of a higher quality, better grade than the one I'm used to. And I love this one, I have to say. All of these I kind of really like. It's just nice to try something new, you know. I think to prevent stagnation, it can be really helpful to not just try and paint new subjects, but I think also use different mediums. So the next one is the Phthalo Green. This is very interesting because you'll notice how it's not staining basically. And I'm used to all the phthalos being like the devil and staining my palette and all of that. But in this case, it's not, which is interesting. Not a green I use very commonly, but I may give it a go and try to use it maybe for water, making them a little green, stuff like that. Next one is the Permanent Green Olive. I love warm greens. This one is doesn't really have a strong inclination, or whatever word I should use, towards warm or cool in my personal feeling. It sort of feels somewhere in the middle. I would definitely use that maybe together with some of the cadmium yellow, or even with the red, or with a blue, just to create some interest and not use it just as is. Next up we have the yellow ochre, another one I'm really interested in, just cleaning my brush thoroughly. This one's very strong, you can see it's very staining, and immediately you feel how easy, I spit a bit, immediately you feel how easy it is to get a strong value with it. I really love this paint because it's actually, I don't know why, but I'm really attracted to the yellows, sort of the yellows that you can do like landscapes and wheat fields and stuff like that. By the way, in the 35 color card, there's actually a transparent ochre, which we may try out later. I'm very curious to see this. Now, this was one of the colors that really piqued my interest, the English Venetian Red. Really reminds me of the roofs of, the old cities in Italy and all of that. I'm also used to be more of a video game nerd, so this reminds me of the roofs on Assassin's Creed, if any of you have seen it. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Love it. Love this one. This one is super interesting. I don't have a tube for it, I believe, so I may just purchase it, because it's really cool. Next one is the Sepia Brown. My impression with this one was interesting because if I compare it to the Daniel Smith Sepia, which I got so used to, this one feels a little more gray. This is how I feel towards it. The Sepia of the Daniel Smith feels a little more brown, maybe towards more this or this. Sort of, if you mix the two, this is what you'll get. So I don't know. I actually prefer not the gray one. So this is one of the paints here which I may not buy like as a tube, as a standalone tube, which is really rare because all of the rest, I love them. So, but anyway, you have a choice with tubes. You just take whatever you want. Last one is Ivory Black. And I have to say, so far, these really impressed me. I played around with them in my moleskin, just created some different combinations, and really interesting, really interesting paints. I think I will save all the mixing and stuff like that for maybe another video or just to show you a full painting process. Now I just want to focus on the colors themselves, and just fantastic. I really love them. The ones that really, again, interest me the most are the English Venetian Red, Yellow Ochre. I love these two together. I just imagine them like in a beautiful landscape, maybe together with some of the blues and yellows to create some nice green. I want to try these. Actually, these three together sort of give me a very interesting sensation, I think, or feeling or emotion. I just need to explore the combinations possible with these ones. So anyway, this covers the 12 dots. Let's now go over to the other card with the 35 dots and just take a look at some of the pigments. They're very interesting. Friends, so here we have the 35 dots. Really cool. What I'm going to do is zoom in on every portion separately and just look at some very interesting paints they have here. Just as a quick tip, this is a good chance to say the way you see the paint now is just like if you would layer over a layer over a layer over a layer, because it's so thick. Okay, so this is a good indication of how dark it's gonna get. When you look at this, okay, you know it's not gonna get as dark as this, for example. Okay, just a quick little tip. I'm gonna make a separate video about this and about pans in general. But for now, let's zoom in on the top part here and just look at some of the paints. So as you can see, I already started using some of them, and this one really piqued my interest, the Saturn Red. I didn't include all the information, but you can find all of it online. This is just to show you some paints. The quinacridone gold hue also was very interesting, and the ruby red deep, just fantastic. Love that one. Also, here we have the cobalt azure, which I wanted to try, the Mars black, and the brilliant opera rose, which I had to try just based on his name. Look at that, it's like a marker again, just amazing. So what I'm gonna do now is maybe choose some other colors and just show you what they look like. And I'm gonna just do it in my head, and I'll be like, which one should I choose? And some of you will see them and say, yes, I want this one, I want this one. So I won't get to all of them, but let me know if you want to see more of these, and I'll maybe purchase a full tube or maybe show you more in details. So we have the geranium red. I don't know, that's interesting. Geranium, is it a flower? I believe it is. So let's test this one out. It's just beautiful. Look at that. It's so strong and smooth. I like the smoothness of it. And here you can see some of them have G next to them, granulating. So we will get to test maybe the granulation as well. This one, just beautiful. I love that. The dots here are, by the way, larger than the previous ones. I believe they are larger. So we can maybe try them a little more. Look at that. Just fantastic. I love these kinds of strong burning reds. Let's try maybe this one, because I have no idea what it is. Rutil yellow. Never heard of it. I'm sure some of you have, so feel free to let me know in a comment. Oh, I may go with many of them because it's just so interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at some others. Who knows? Okay, so yeah, this one is really nice. I love it. Feels like maybe similar to Indian yellow, I guess, or something like that. It's kind of warmer than the lemon yellow for sure, and even maybe warmer than the other one, the cadmium yellow. But this one's a bit more dull, a bit more subtle. I like that, I have to say. Let's look at the vermilion light here. And you will let me know that hell means light, so I'm happy to hear that. So vermilion xenoberot, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but I do know that it comes from cinnabar, I guess, because I know vermilion is made of cinnabar ore. So yeah, following the video on toxic paints, I know that. So just this one is beautiful. I can understand why vermilion was a popular paint and still is, probably in many places. I don't know exactly what this one is made of, so it could be a little more toxic. I really don't know. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but I may do more in the future talking about this. This one sounds interesting. Phthalo Sapphire Blue. Who wants to try this? Raise their hands. Okay, I see a lot of you. Let's do this. Okay, maybe I should do something like this, but live. This could be interesting. You know what? Maybe I'll do that. I'll keep some of these and do the rest live. So anyway, this one, oof, love it. Really strong. Reminds me of the Phthalo Blue, but has a bit of, I don't know. This, just fantastic. I love it. These new paints, let me tell you, I just love them. And I'm really a fan of a limited palette, but this may convert me to be a pigment junkie, I'm afraid. Let's try. I believe there was also transparent ochre here, which I want to try. We'll look at that in a moment. There is transparent green gold. Let's see. I never used the green gold before, so it could be a good chance. Schmincke, thank you so much. I'm really happy to just try these out like a kid. These are in fact so fun, I may buy just a dot card just to play around with them more. It's really cool. Wow, I like this transparent gold, green gold. Really cool. Let's try now. Where did I see that transparent sienna? Here, transparent ochre. Let's try this one. It may be interesting. I love how these all sort of look good together. I'll zoom out in the end and we'll see. So yeah, transparent sienna. Yeah, oh, I wanted the transparent ochre. Okay, we'll do both. So, transparent sienna here. Interesting. There was a lump of something in here. Let's get it off. Maybe it's from my brush. Really cool. Really reminds me of the Daniel Smith quinacridone burnt orange in the primary set. Like, this is super similar. It could even be the same pigment, you know what? Really interesting. Let's now check out the transparent ochre. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I know a lot of people don't like the yellow ochre because it's very, very, very opaque in many cases, and it just tends to mess things up for people that want to keep the transparency. So it's very interesting. This one is definitely much weaker than the regular ochre. Takes some time to produce a darker one, but I guess that's what you want if you're looking for very transparent paints. I would be happier to see it a little stronger, like this one, but still beautiful. It's pretty similar, actually. Let me show you to this one, to the quinacridone gold hue, only this one is stronger, so this could be a good replacement as well, as long as it's transparent enough. But anyway, yeah, this is just fantastic. I'm gonna try one last paint. Maybe more towards the green. We have here Perylene Green, so this could be interesting. Let's try this one out, just because we have a lot of primaries here. Ooh, this one's nice. Very dull green. It's funny, in a way it sort of reminds me, the dullness reminds me of the undersea green I showed you in this Daniel Smith secondary set, but this one is, it's a different type of dullness, I guess. It's more cool. Ooh, I love it. Love this one. It can get quite dark, as you can see. And yeah, I just want to try all of them, honestly. Let's maybe try one more. Umber, green umber. That's interesting. French ultramarine. You know what? We didn't try... Oh, this one's granulating. We didn't try this many that granulate, so maybe let's try the French ultramarine here because it granulates, or maybe the Potter's pink. You know what? Potter's pink, because it's pink and it's granulating, so it has to be an interesting experience. Let's try that one. Let's see. Oh, accidentally put my hand into the Perylene Green. Potter pink. A pink that granulates. Didn't see many of these, so it could be interesting. Oh, okay. Looks good, I have to say. I want to make it strong so that you can see the granulations well, maybe, if I zoom in. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. So I'm kind of going against the rules of putting a wash and just leaving it to keep the quality of it, but that's okay. I don't really care. Sorry about that noise. So if I take it up close, you can see also here the Mars Black here granulating, and we also have this one, the Potter's pink that I just put. I love these. Let me zoom out so you can see all of them. Okay, so the new paints excite me much more than this card. It feels a little more standard. I definitely want to check out some of these. I highly recommend you get at least this card if you can maybe get it for free or just buy it, because it's just so fun to see them and it will give you a good idea of what you want to buy if you want to get a tube. This one's fantastic, and I'm sure I'm going to buy some of these just for fun, for my own personal enjoyment. Really interesting. So let me show you all of it together here. So this is all we've done today. I hope you enjoyed this small demo, and I hope also the data here that I added on the sides helped you with these ones. Let me know if you want to see more of these or any of the specific ones here. You saw them zoomed in, so you can tell me if there's a specific one you want me to take a look at. Feel free to drop a comment below, let me know. And yeah, this is it. Very interesting. I will try and incorporate some of these in my paintings. I don't know if this is enough quantity, but if it is, I'll be happy to just try out a painting with this, and definitely with the tubes that I want to open. And yeah, that's it. Let's wrap up this video. This is it, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to open the tubes. I'm just waiting for my empty half pens to get here. I ordered them off of Amazon. A lot of you may have seen these on my Instagram or Snapchat. I bought this palette, and I just need the empty pens, and unfortunately no store here has them. So I'm just waiting for them to arrive. They should arrive today, so that's a good thing. I'll probably pick them up today. And then I'll fill it up, and this will be my exclusive Schmincke palette, so I'm just very happy about this. And yeah, this is it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and just seeing all the dots and all the colors. Really recommend you get one of these. I will review some of them more in details, and definitely the tubes and the paint show, and it's just gonna be really cool, really fantastic and fun to see. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube and in Snapchat and Instagram to follow me, because I post like live all the things I'm doing, including everything I'm doing right now and recording this video. And I will see you again tomorrow.